Are you working harder than ever, but it still can't seem to get ahead? Most agents are doing everything themselves, the calls, the follow ups, the marketing, the paperwork, all of it. And it's killing their growth. But today I'm sitting down with Raquel Christian, a real estate professional with over 18 years of experience, top producer and co founder of ScaleMate VA. She built a system that gives agents time back in their business to move forwards. And today, Raquel is breaking down exactly how to leverage and transform the way you run your business. Let's welcome her. Hey, everybody, as I gave this amazing introduction, now you get to hear from Raquel, which I am so excited to have her here with us today. Raquel, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy lady, you're running so many different hats, but you took time to come here and share some nuggets today, and we appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course. Well, I always love just kind of, hearing people's stories because I feel like we all can relate in a different level. We all start for different reasons. So I'd love to actually hear a little bit like, what were you doing even before real estate? What got you in real estate? And, where are you at?
Absolutely. Well, I started working for a developer, uh, and and that's where the love of real estate began. They were an amazing part of my journey. I first started with the client service department and then moved my way up, which eventually I helped start a property management division. And then with that, I pretty much fell into resale. And so it was an amazing journey to get me to where I'm at now. And I went to college, studied business and real estate. So there's been a lot of real estate love in my life.
That it's so cool because, like I sometimes hear people actually getting, a bachelor or something related to real estate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just doing my 90 hours to get my license was enough. So
Right?
you're like overqualified. So that's awesome. That's awesome. And did you start like when were working for this developer already in San Diego, or were you in a different part of California or even another state?
So I'm born and raised in San Diego, and I went to San Diego State and started my job with the developer in San Diego. So it's been pretty much San Diego. I've moved up the counties to Riverside County, to get a little more reach, but primarily I'm San Diego County.
Got it. And what made you kind of go from maybe the property management side to actually become a realtor? Because I feel like that's two different hats, right? I mean, like, I know very high level, obviously, what a property manager will do, but I feel like sometimes it's either you one or the other. You don't do both.
Right. So with property management, I definitely learned a lot. I learned a lot about properties more or less, like the mechanics, water heaters, plumbing, electrical, and I did feel that that was a great part of my learning curve. But for me, I didn't feel I was making enough money as I could with resells, given all the work I was doing with property management. And so it was almost a natural progression for me that I was able to move into the resale side. And partly because of, I was able to make more money doing resells. So that's what led me there. It was a nice transition, I'll tell you that.
Well, I feel like actually on the steps that you've been taking, which is not a typical journey for a lot of realtors. I was still doing part-time in the tech industry, which is totally unrelated to real estate, right? And then kind of getting myself in there. But you kind of had your feet and hands in different pockets of what because real estate, there's so much, right? It's not just the buying and selling, but so you
Mhm.
got a lot of knowledge there, for sure, which
Yes.
I'm sure it
That's
helped you. on, on the long run. So, so let's talk a little bit more now where you're at. Like, so it's been, years in the business. Have you got to a point that you're like kind of niching down in a specific, type of clientele that you want to work with, or like what has been going on in your business these days?
So I do production, and I stick with San Diego County. It is, I would say because I'm from here, I do get a lot of referrals, and it's all throughout San Diego. So as far as niching down, I would say I have moved into the luxury space as well, but I still help those that, I help everybody basically that come to me because again, I'm from here and I love working with people that, that I've had a past with. It's pretty amazing that they still reach out to me and that I still can, keep that relationship going. So as far as niching down, I again will focus on the luxury space, but I'll work with all.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I kind of feel the same too. Like, cause my content every day, I even have some clients that are just like, are you still helping people like me?
Right.
And they're so funny. I was just like, and I have a similar, approach. It's just like, if you're reaching out to me, it doesn't matter your price point, right? And I think
Absolutely.
luxury too is just like, just how you treat people these days. It's even beyond a price point, but that is super cool.
I
So,
agree.
so yeah, so, either examples of like you working, and investing on the luxury side, or just
Mhm.
working with your other clients and referrals you have. Like, what are some of the things that can share, with who's watching, that has been working for your business to generate more business, right? Because I feel like that's always, that lead generation, it's always, an important topic.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons why I joined, EXP and I joined Wolfpack was because of the social media presence. I didn't have that with my prior broker. And so I felt that that was a huge need, right, in order to expand my business. And so that's something for more exposure. That's something that has worked really well for me. I've been able to get in front of, again, past friends, family, more so through social media than me, calling them, etc., because they see what I'm doing, they see my everyday life, and so that has been super helpful for me, and being able to keep in touch with those and generate more business.
Hmm, hmm. Well, I want to touch in what's behind you. ScaleMate virtual assistant. Like, how, again, I know you're already a boss lady and have added so many other layers in the experience, but how did that become an, I mean, I know it's a need, right? I know realtors need help, but
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like, what made you think of actually, going and opening this other umbrella in your business?
Right. So as I generated more business, and I have two children. I felt myself, like just having, just needing additional help, right?
Mhm.
And so with that, I reached out to folks in the industry, and that's where I found my first virtual assistant. And she really was a huge lifesaver for me. And as my business grew, I realized that I needed more help with all production, real estate related, and even some personal life, right? And so with that, I added a few more virtual assistants to really be specific, work on specific parts of my business. And so with that, I just wanted to be able to help other real estate agents and other business owners to be able to, find that help and expand their businesses too. Because as real estate agents, we wear a lot of hats and we can start drowning, right? And so in order to truly focus on what it is that we are great at, we need an extension of ourselves, hence virtual assistants. And so I started the business with the idea to help, but I also started it with a business partner, Maida, who she also had virtual assistants, and we just wanted to help others, serve and help others. And it's been amazing to be able to offer this service to other realtors and small business owners to help them find help.
No, absolutely. I mean, I use virtual assistants too for the last, 2 years, and I started as soon as possible, right? I understand it's an additional, expense, but I think as realtors, we need to start, stopping up and thinking about like what is that investment? What is that free time is going to allow you to do things that maybe a virtual assistant wouldn't do, which is maybe being present. So I'm just curious for your business today. And obviously, I know you have the virtual assistant business, but what are some of the things that your virtual assistants are helping you with your real estate business?
Sure. So they help me with my social media. They help me with my listings. They help me with my contracts. They help me, to prep, right? Because ultimately, as a realtor, I'm the one to review and
Mhm.
submit, right? But they help the prep, right? The prep portion. And they just, gosh, they help with facilitating phone calls. They help with making those inspection appointments. They help with coordinating anything I need with other realtors. So and for myself, that's huge because it allows me again to focus on what I do best, and that's engaging and generating business with my
Mhm.
client, with anybody really.
And one of the things that sometimes I hear from agents that are looking for that additional support is that,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, but like you can get like emailed or DM'd on Instagram from people that, are virtual assistants from all over the world saying that they're going to help you. But
Mhm.
sometimes you might encounter them and they don't have all the skill sets, right, to actually
Right.
do the job.
Right.
So what is something that you would say, like, that your business kind of help that agent that don't have all this time to be, I mean, I think it is important, right, for you to share your vision, to share your brand. I mean, they need some understanding of your business, right? You cannot just expect they're going to do everything exactly
Yes.
how you want. But I know that, outside of that little bit of that learning curve there,
Hmm.
how do you, help with your virtual assistants to be efficient and effective, when you're, bringing them into like a possible new agent to help them out?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things is having standard operating procedures in place. That's going to be one of the biggest things. So if your realtor struggling, what I suggest is videoing what you do on a daily basis. So you know what it is, the standard operating procedure. You can document from that video and you can create your standard operating procedure, or have a notebook next to what you do and just document what you do daily. That will help begin the standard operating procedure process. So when you're looking for, a virtual assistant or an assistant, they have something that they're able to look at, right? Refer back to, because a lot of times we're seeking help, but once we get that help, we pause because we don't know what to give them. Right. But in reality, we know we're sinking within our business because we're so stressed, overwhelmed. But then it's like, oh gosh, now I have to train this person. So the biggest thing is start documenting everything that you do, however it is, writing notes, videoing yourself, and start creating your standard operating procedures that way.
No, that's great. And I think that sometimes that part of paperwork a lot of agents don't do.
Right.
We get really good about the forms and contracts and everything. But,
Hmm.
and I love this because that's something that I've been kind of talking a lot here in my channel is just about like, that we need to start looking at our real estate business as a business, right? Not just like another transaction, especially if you want to scale and be in this environment for a while. And having that CEO hat, those procedures of operations and how you do business is just going to help you be able to free up your time, hire the right people to do what they need to do, and then,
Yes.
only do the high paying activities. So that's really awesome. Well, thanks for sharing about the business. We'll definitely have all the links if anybody is interested, in learning more and how to take
Absolutely.
next steps with you on that. So we'll put that on the description. So moving on, because as I say, like you're wearing like so many different hats. Now I want to talk about you and as a mentor, as a coach, because I know you're doing that as well, right? I mean, I know you have
Mhm.
your production and you have, your virtual assistant, so which is helping you being able to add all these different hats for you to support. So I know you have team locally and also in other parts of the US and other countries, because that's what EXP allows us to do, right? And really help
Yes.
us, with that vehicle to be able to do that. So I would just love to just hear a little bit, how what does it look like, someone that might be interested in partnering up with you and learn more about, what do you do for them to implement in their business?
When joining my team or joining or co-sponsoring, one of the huge benefits that you'll get on a weekly basis are training phone calls with social media with the Wolfpack. You'll also get a women's group phone call weekly. There's so much value that we're able to provide those that partner with us. And it's just, it again, it has helped my business. I've been able to scale for the social, from social media training, etc., that it could be the same for you or for anybody that joins us.
And I mean, like obviously you have all the social proof because you started, you were looking for something and then look how much has expanded your business and even open other avenues. Now you're also having like your virtual assistant business as well. And as a Raquel shared, like here, if ever there's a question about, joining EXP, we'll love to explain, all the benefits, not only about the brokerage, but then also about our team that I feel like it's so unique in our community.
Yes.
And you have the opportunity as well to work with both of us. It doesn't matter where we're located, which makes this
Yes.
process so seamless. And you're gonna get training from our different strategies and how we do business, and you can go and implement that. Now that is super awesome. Well, as we're
Yes.
wrapping up, and we are in 2026, which is crazy, and already starting in March. Oh my gosh, time is flying. So realtors, get it going here. I would love to just kind of like any last thoughts and just a tip, maybe, someone that is last year wasn't maybe their best year, or they just feeling stuck, needing to get into that, next level mindset. What would it be something that you just kind of suggest for them to look into or focus on, for this year?
Right. I would say one of the things is start listening to podcasts that can add value to you. One of the things that I make sure I listen to are CEO podcasts. Maybe you want to learn more social media. So really choose something that you want to dive into and learn more about. I think, and don't give up, right? Production may be slow for you, and maybe not, but just keep going, keep putting yourself out there, and business will come. You just have to be very consistent with what you do and how you approach generating business.
I love that because, that's something that sometimes we forget. Like, we need to be, what are we feeding our minds, right? And I feel like
Right.
that's going to help create that energy to go get more business. So I love the podcast, suggestion. I try to, as much as I can. We spend a lot of time in the car. What a great time to use that, right?
Yes.
But Raquel, I so appreciate you. And guys, as I said, all her information, either about her business or just, her social media and how to stay in touch with her is going to be on the description below. If you're like curious and want to learn more, book a call with us. We will love to share, everything that we have in here because that's why we even have this channel. It's to share. But other than that, I so appreciate your time today. There's so
Thank
much
you.
value, and you're just like I'm taking my hat off in here for all the things that you're doing, and so proud to be doing business together.
Likewise. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.